Thanks for joining the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Today on the program, Buhari rules out meeting with nPDP members as Ekweremadu accuses presidency of persecuting opposition. 42 positions up for grabs at APC convention. And later on the show, report says ISIS sneaking jihadists into Nigeria from Syria. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Olayinka Oyegbile, and Asuko James. So if you are ready, let the hangout start now. Glad to have you join us again. The call for political leaders in Nigeria to act as statesmen and not as politicians has raged for long. This is to allow them concentrate more on state affairs rather than politicking. In this regard, President Muhammadu Buhari has stayed off the new PDP bloc within the APC and its crisis. He vowed not to meet with the aggrieved members of the group, which had insisted on meeting with him as a precondition for remaining with the party. Now, according to President Buhari, it is a party matter that the APC national leaders and governors should resolve. Interestingly, the PDP mainstream is also crying foul. Deputy Senate President Ekweremadu is accusing the presidency of persecuting opposition. Babajide, I don't know, maybe this is like the president referring to this as a party matter that the party should resolve. When you look at the caliber of people involved in this nPDP, if Senator Abubakar Bukola Saraki, the Senate President, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and some other senators currently in the 8th Assembly are involved, and former Kano State Governor. And don't you think the president should lead the reconciliation talks, although they've had some session with the vice president? Don't you think it's going to have a backlash for the president to stay off the negotiation?
Well, I think the president does not want to see them, so he's just looking for an excuse to not sit with these people. Because remember, he had told the vice president to see them, and during the meeting with the vice president, all kinds of demands came up, although they are denying those demands. But we know that there were demands that they made to the vice president. In the course of the meeting with the vice president, the matter of the withdrawal of some of the security detail of Dogara and the Senate president came up, and those security details were immediately restored. So, but there are other demands, and from the beginning they had wanted to meet the president because they believe it's the president who can resolve some of those issues. And the president does not want to give in to some of those demands that they are making. For example, if some people want the president to drop charges against some elements of the nPDP who are on trial at this time, you know that this president will not agree. If some people want to be allowed to retain their current political positions, you know that this president will not agree. In fact, the president has gone ahead to say, oh, the Senate presidency in the next dispensation will go to the Southeast.
Which was the original plan, if they didn't have any senator from APC.
Which is one way of encouraging the Southeast to vote the APC. Because if they do not vote the APC, then there's no way they will be able to produce a Senate president from the Southeast. So there is still politics, as I've said from the beginning, it's still politics that is taking place. For the president to say that, oh, governors are leaders in their states, they should be able to resolve all issues, is ridiculous. The governors are even the people causing the crisis in the states. The governors, the extremely selfish nature of governors has led the APC to where it is now. And the president ought to know that. But of course, this is brinksmanship on his part. This president is not prepared to meet these people. He thinks that the party is in a position of strength. He wants to call their bluff. You know, if you've read what Senator Gray said, it is an extremely risky proposition to dump the party. For some of them who want to dump the party, it may amount in the end to political suicide, because if they go to another party, they may still not be able to win back their positions. Maybe you are a senator, you may still not be able to come back. So for the nPDP members, these are trying times. They are weighing all the options. And whether you go to the right or you go to the left, you must take a decision, because the center is a ditch. So they have to think. It's an extremely difficult decision for them. And I think this president too, he knows that at this stage he cannot be held to ransom. He knows that the party remains strong. So he thinks that they can call off the bluff of the nPDP and they will still be able to win the election. I think that's the way he's looking at it. Once they weaken them sufficiently, some of them will crawl back and say, okay, whatever happens, we'll remain with our party. You know, so that's what I think. That's how I think it's reasoning, because you can't send them back to their governors. Imagine if a governor has made a career now out of swearing at people, cursing people. Is that the kind of governor that people they should go back to resolve issues in states?
Oh, it's far from it.
Creators of, okay, if for example, some of the loyalists of Kwankwaso want peace, are you saying they should go to Ganduje to go and resolve things? I mean, it's illogical. It cannot work. Yes, there are other leaders, but we also know that Asiwaju Tinubu has not been allowed to even play his role as peacemaker, because the leadership of the party sort of interfered. So, I don't know.
Inka, when you want to look at it, is it going to be costly for the nPDP to leave APC right now?
Well, whatever view we offer here, we are the outsiders. Those who are in the party, they know what applies. But if we read from body language and things going on, even in the so-called nPDP, there has been a break in rank. The former governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Adamu, has already stated clearly that he is no longer part of them. He is satisfied with what is going on in the APC, and that if there's any reason to complain, it is better you fight from inside than go outside. Now, if they leave, they are going to, the party, the APC might feel their exit, but I don't think it will be as massive as it was for PDP in 2014, 2015. So now, what they need to do is also to come together. The fact that the president, yes, the president is the national leader of the party, and that the president should intervene. No, there are too many state affairs that the president needs to attend to rather than party issues.
All right, let me quickly take this breather. When we come back, we'll discuss more. It's still Journalist Hangout. Please stay with us. Welcome back. This is Journalist Hangout. We're reaching you live from Television Continental here in Lagos, Nigeria. Asuko James, in 2014, we saw these people and it started like a joke. That actually contributed to the defeat of the People's Democratic Party. People, it will not be difficult to say, it will be difficult to say people like Wamako, former Governor Wamako, Governor Tambuwal, Bukola Saraki, Yakubu Dogara, Ali Kwakwanso, that those people, they are not heavyweights, and it's not going to cost the All Progressive Congress. Do you think this is the right approach? Because that convention that is coming on Saturday, maybe they will attend, I don't know.
Is like you said, they are heavyweights, particularly in their states. But can their weight actually, unseat a Buhari? That is what you should also be looking at. Because, for instance, in Kano, for instance, the governor and the president, they are close. And if you are to go to any election today, I'm not sure Kwankwaso will have that huge number. He will definitely have his people. But will he be able to, half the votes of the president? Are you
telling me that the president can get his 1.9 million votes?
He might not get that is
in Kano.
1 point. He might not get that number, that's full numbers, but he will have up to 1 million. Wow. You understand? That is how popular the president is in Kano. Now, if you talk about maybe Kwara, Saraki is still the Lord in Kwara. If you talk about Sokoto, Kwankwaso also has a say. But let me tell you, but even Dogara doesn't have a say in Bauchi. Yeah. You understand? It doesn't.
Also, it's popular.
It doesn't have. Okay, look at even the Congress, the APC Congress are there. He was not even able to, put himself together and put his men, in quote, together for him to have a successful Congress, for at least for us to know that he has a say. He can, he's on ground. So it will be, yes, their movement might cause a little bit of, shake-up in the APC. But I'm not sure it will be that significant to the extent that it's to lead. Exactly, because the presidency has that numbers, particularly in the north. And now that is worming its way into the southwest, whether we like it or we don't, is worming its way into the southwest, it will be very difficult for anybody to wish him off. Because the president still has that numbers. He still has that as he speak. So, like we are saying, the nPDP should weigh their options properly. Because even if they go to PDP, there are people already there in the PDP. And what PDP guys will be looking for will be what they will use to fight, and which is the war chest. Do they have that war chest, to go into that battle? If they have if they have it, fine, they will accommodate them. You understand? They will accommodate them. But if they don't, and they just want to, it was a former party, and will just want to, come back and all that, it will be very, very difficult. So they should weigh their options.
Jide, I'll put the same question to you. How consequential would this be?
You see, sometimes when you want to deal with an enemy, you are monitoring how he's doing. You have information about his every move. These guys are talking to the PDP, talking to different parties. But the people working with the president are aware that things are not so rosy for them as they try to get into those parties. For some of them, they are asking to be made candidates, presidential candidates. They want guarantees that they will be made presidential candidates in one or two of those parties. And nobody is prepared to give them that guarantee. So this is the reason it's taking them so much time to take the plunge. If a Kwankwaso, for example, could be guaranteed the ticket of the PDP today, the next moment is leaving.
Straight.
He's leaving because his heart is not here. His supporters don't call themselves APC members. They call themselves Kwankwasia. They stop calling themselves APC members because they believe that APC is not a party for them anymore. That they've been victimized in the party, especially in Kano and all that, you know, and no one appears to be listening to them. So the truth is, they know the APC leadership is aware of what they are going through, that it is not it is not cut and dried for them yet. So, and that puts them in a position of strength to say, okay, let us see how far they can go. Maybe ultimately they will have to make a decision between remaining in a ruling party where there are still opportunities for pecs, for appointments of all sorts, and taking the plunge, moving into the opposition where you are not certain that your political attainment will not be eroded. The progress that you have made will not suddenly suffer a decline.
Exactly.
You know, so politics is about interest. They have to weigh all these things before they take a decision. I spoke with one of the nPDP guys for like 25 minutes sometime last week, you know, and basically this was what we were talking about. But he was saying, look, after the convention, we'll see what will happen because this party has not been fair to us. We showed them clearly we've been cheated in these congresses, and the party has refused to do anything. The truth is, the APC has mismanaged the congresses, and the congresses have left governors with so much powers. And I see them, even in today's papers, you are saying, oh, governors are going to decide unity list. So they want, that means APC wants to clone exactly what the PDP have done. So how, in the end, are you going to say you are different from APC, from PDP?
Babaji, let me quickly take, Mohammed is calling us from Niger State. Thank you for joining us, Mohammed.
Thank you very much, panelists.
All right. Go ahead with your contribution.
Okay, my contribution is that Babaji seems to be too confident in northern Nigerian politics, comfortably sitting in TVC studio in Lagos. I want to let you understand something. In 2015, the election was between Goodluck Jonathan from southern Nigeria and President Muhammadu Buhari in northern Nigeria. You need to understand that there are a lot of dynamics that play. Some northerners who were even core PDP supported Buhari in 2015. 2019 election is likely going to be between a northerner and a northerner, likely between a Muslim and a Muslim. So anybody who is sitting comfortably somewhere thinking that Buhari still has that 12 million votes to cut away from the north is deceiving himself. Onkoso is from Kano. Onkoso is very popular in Kano. He might not be able to take over the 1.9 million votes he has given Buhari, but you have forgotten that he is also likely to align with Shekarau in PDP. Shekarau also has followership. You saw what happened when he was arraigned in court. Then again, in the North Central, look at states like Benue with the insecurity. In 2015, Benue overwhelmingly voted for APC. Benue is not going the way of APC in 2019. Taraba is not North Central, it's not.
Okay. Mohammed, I think I get your drifts. I get. Jide, you want to respond to what Mohammed just said?
I share his sentiments to an extent. I thought we could have time to listen to him a little more. The only state in the Northeast that Buhari doesn't win is Taraba. He is guaranteed victory in the whole of the Northeast, except Taraba. Now, the truth is, the elites are not happy with the president. They are not happy with the president. They believe that the APC has not delivered good leadership to the point that they can be confident in the administration. Some of those things they are saying are true. But the truth is, the masses are the people who vote. He spoke like it's convenient for him to think that I sit in Lagos and I just analyze. I said during our special program on Democracy Day
May 29.
that I wrote the cover story preceding the 2011 election, and I predicted who will win, which party will win in each of the 36 states. And the only state that I didn't get right was Osun State. So it's not like I just suddenly materialize on the scene. I go to the north frequently. I'm in touch with people in the north. I know what's going on in the north. That's how I'm able to analyze. Yesterday we were talking about decent Nigerians, that it is not only the president who is honest.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I talked about Ahmed Daku. I talked about even Shekarau. Shekarau was living in a rented apartment in Nasarawa in Kano before he became governor. And up till 6 months to the end of his tenure, his 8 years as governor, Shekarau still didn't have a house of his own. So if I don't know these people, if I don't know that area, I was born in the north. I did NYC in the north. I schooled in the north. Why won't I know what's going on there? They always say that time is a gentleman. When we talk about all of these things, I have said that the president needs to win 4 states in the north central to stand a chance of winning the election. And he needs to retain the southwest. The president knows that. That's why he's leaning towards the southwest now. Some people in the north too are not happy. They say, oh, what has he done for us? He has not done anything for us in Kano. The only thing they've done in Kano is to build a prison. Since Buhari came there, there are sentiments. But the average people, honestly, it's like you know, I gave an example that Buhari, people were lining up for fuel. Some of them had been on the queue for 3 days. In Kaduna, they saw Buhari and they still left the queue to go and be jubilating. So it is those people who vote. Not the elite. The elites can sit down and analyze and show clearly that this president should have done this, he has not done it. But the masses, those guys, there's nothing you can say to them about Buhari that they want to listen. I'm telling you, because I once told you about someone that I took, that gave me a ride from my hotel in Kano to Jedi. One, Marwa, Keke Marwa driver, you know. These are the people who vote at the end of the day. They don't want to know. Tell them Buhari is bad. They don't want to listen. That is a fact. People must admit that once people like you, it's just like Bukola Saraki's father in Kwara. Every year, they would say all kinds of things about him. Those people will still go and vote for him. So that is the thing. We are talking about those guys, not the elites. Until you can get the masses to stop thinking that Buhari is the Messiah. Honestly, there's nobody in the north that will contest against that he will not defeat.
All right, still to come, 42 positions up for grabs at APC convention. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this time out. Welcome back. The All Progressives Congress appears to be dusting the crisis that have dogged it in recent times. The planned national convention slated for Saturday in Abuja is presenting a platform for a fresh start, though a new set of leaders will be elected by delegates at the convention. 20 candidates will be returned unopposed as members of the National Working Committee. This will leave 42 positions up for grabs, including offices of the National Chairman and National Secretary. Is the convention a looming showdown or promising redemption for the All Progressive Congress? Yinka, over 6,800 delegates. And from what I gathered, for the position of the National Chairman, now we have Professor Sumbo, we have Clement Ibiri, and Adams Ali Oshomole. I think Professor Sumbo is the former governor of Edo State. Yes, and him and Adams Oshomole. Clement Ibiri, I think, is from Cross River. Cross River. Okay, former governor of Cross River. Now, looking at 62 positions, 20 returned up unopposed, and 42 up for grabs.
Contested for.
Now, what is the best way out? For the first time in 4 years, APC is going to go into an elective convention.
Well, I hope at the end of the day, it is not going to be that we are just anxious or we have expressed our anxiety and the thing will just go smoothly. Because the way I see it here, the 3 people who are listed for chairmanship, we already know where the
Majority.
where the swing will blow to. Now, you know, in the last during the National Assembly election to elect Senate President and all that, there were moves and talk to convince the president then to anoint a candidate, which he never did, and which led to what we have today. But this time around, he has already thrown his weight behind Oshiomhole. So, how many? I don't see anybody or anything happening except Oshiomhole as the chairman of the party. Osumbo, Ebri, and so on. I think the 2 of them are just coming in
To democratize.
exactly to sort of give exactly to give legitimacy to it. That I contested as chairman, even though now the 2 of them. Has anyone heard that they campaign? Although it's a party affair, they should campaign. But Oshiomhole has been moving around, going, coming, and so on.
Opening campaign office.
Exactly.
But,
So
Clement
now,
to have started declaring.
what I see there is that this convention might turn out to be an anticlimax. Anticlimax in the sense that everyone, both in the party itself, the opposition, and non-partisan people are looking at it that, oh, this will be a convention that will make or mar APC. They have the threat from the nPDP. They have many who are not happy with what is going on.
Congress, the way the Congress
exactly.
went.
And then you are talking of whether they will bring in a unity list. I wonder if there is any disunity list. So, now, with this, what I see happening is that simple. It might be an anticlimax. You just go there and rubber stamp by, okay, we have agreed, and
I attended the PDP convention. John held at the Eagle Square, and early in the morning before the start of the convention, the list was in circulation. And a lot of people will say that's helped to douse a kind of tension, and in a way, despite the fact that the APC criticized that move that time, but everybody, all the stakeholders came together. Okay, you from this zone, bring this person. You from this zone, bring that person, and everything. And a list was drawn up. And you could even see Governor Ayo Fayose distributing the lists, the list to the delegates that day. Now, although Senator Honorable Abike Dabiri denied it, but
there's no unity list.
But are they working towards the same thing?
I think it would be a little bit suicidal if they try it.
Suicidal?
Yes, because in the sense that even when APC was coming, remember they had their first convention in Lagos.
Yes.
And that was their fresh start, their first start, and it immediately warmed Nigerians into them. You know, that people started saying, this is the
presidential
party.
primaries.
Lovely presidential primaries. This, that, transparent, everything. So if they try it, Nigerians will just say, what is the difference between PDP and APC? So they should be looking at so many things, because everybody is now looking at APC and say, okay, will this party be different? Already they are even fractured, because nobody knows who is going to be the delegate of every state that is going to go. And as we speak, from what I gathered, they don't even have a comprehensive list, names of those who are contesting. But we know the people that are contesting in each particular positions. Like I know that in the National Police Secretary, we have like almost 5 people that are contesting. Yeah. You know, the women leader, they have like 3. apart from the national chairman, the organizing secretary, they have 5 people that are contesting, and they are all from Imo State.
You can.
So even the secretary, the national secretary, there are also issues there. Although some of them are even claiming that the president have even endorsed them. Yeah. But it is a lie. You know, so if they bring a unity list...
Just take this caller. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
Emmanuel.
good afternoon. Yeah, Emmanuel.
From Ikorodu?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead with your contribution.
Based on the chairmanship, APC chairmanship, I believe there's a unity list, because this afternoon I was the rally of the APC at NTA done in Ekiti today. Even the man who anchored the program, he said it in a stylish way that shows that Oshomole is going to win the chairmanship. So APC should stop saying there's no unity list. To me, as I'm concerned, I believe there's a unity list. So I don't think they are not plain. They are not truthful with this their convention of the team. That's just what I want to say.
Okay, thank you, Emmanuel. Babajide, what do you make of the so-called unity list? It has been denied, but a lot of people will say and suggest that if you want to avert crisis in that convention,
I think what BKW said, though, there's no unity list anywhere. If you see any unity list anywhere, it is fake. Maybe up to the time that she was speaking, there was no unity list yet. You know? So she may be right. But the same BKW said, but there is room for
consensus,
affirmation, and consensus. What is the difference between unity list and consensus? Because it's still the same thing at the end of the day. It's a matter of semantics.
Because it's the name that you go there.
It's a matter of what you choose to call it. So people going around with unity list, they are going around with a consensus list. People should stop hoodwinking us with the English language. It's a borrowed language, we know. But don't hoodwink us with it. When we are talking about unity lists and what governors are proposing, these governors have made up their minds that, okay, positions zoned to their zones, that they will be given the power to nominate. So it means that in Nigeria, in the politics that the APC and the PDP are promoting in Nigeria, the crude politics that both parties are promoting, if the governors have become kings, they are like gods with the small letter G. So if you quarrel with a governor in your state, there is no place for you in the party. You cannot grow in the party. And this was what the president, when they asked that there should be congresses, he was saying that everybody should have the same rights
to be able
to
aspire
all of those positions. But governors are refusing to allow people to have rights to those positions. A governor who shamelessly conducts Congress inside government house and shuts out other people. Is that one ready to listen to the president who thinks that these things should be free to other people to take part in? Governors who are now deciding, we hear they are going to meet on Wednesday, and who want to be the ones to nominate people into positions zoned to their states. They are certainly not going to make it transparent. At the end of the day, they will come up with unity list, since they are now in the habit of copying the PDP. They are going to come up with unity list. Abike can call it what she wants.
Consensus.
She's a journalist. Journalists like to play with words. She can call it what she wants. They are going to come up with a list, whether it is affirmation list or consensus list or unity list.
Or affirmation list.
Yes, they are going to come up with a list. What you choose to call it may not be what he wants to call it, but it's the same thing that you will end up saying. So they will come up with that list based on what the leaders of the party have agreed. The Ashiwa Jews of this world will have their own candidates. There will be meetings that will drag late into the early hours of the day.
The convention dates.
The politicians, they don't sleep.
At all.
I don't know what they take. Maybe they take tramadol. Or, I don't know what they take. They don't sleep. They will meet and meet and meet. Your fate will be decided at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So they can have a meeting at 9 o'clock that closes at 9 o'clock. They are so treacherous that they will call themselves again. They will call a privileged few again. Start another meeting.
Another meeting
At 10 o'clock. That one will now terminate at 2 a.m.
At 2
That
a.m.
is when the final decision will be taken. So you are not part of the meeting that started at 10 p.m.
10 p.m.
and ended at 2 a.m. You'll be effectively shut out. So it's politics in Nigerian political terrain is a very, very treacherous one, and everyone should know it. I am already expecting surprises. I know there will be 1 or 2 surprises no matter what happens.
Asuko,
Since some positions are up for grabs.
do you see any kind of a radical departure from what the APC, what they've been avoiding in the last 4 years that has stopped them from holding its convention? Do you see any of those things happening on Saturday?
Radical departure as
No, you're not a soothsayer. I wanted to say what, as in the party, the fear of the party imploding. The chances. Do you foresee?
Well,
Or some people planning to stage the famous walkouts?
Not through the convention.
No, they might not stage, not on at that ground, But once they have their affirmation list or unity list, all they need to do is just to send it to their delegates. And once those ones enter into the hall or wherever, whether they want to use the Eagle Square. Okay, they're using the Eagle Square.
That would be the most...
If they use the Eagle Square, so it will just be
Ratified.
very, very easy for them. But by the time after that convention is what we should be looking at for.
Yes.
It is after.
The people who have made up their minds to leave.
To leave.
They've made up their minds to leave based on what happened during the congresses. So those ones have made up their minds. Whatever is going on at this convention does not bother them.
Exactly.
But many of them will stay away.
Will Adams, okay, I wanted to say, will Adams or Shomina, or will the new chairman, let's just take it, will the new chairman be able to address issues from these congresses?
And he can address some of them.
Yeah, those ones that is closer to.
Rivers, for example, now, the courts refuse to accept the congresses held, which means that there is a chance for a fresh beginning. You can look at those areas.
How about Imo?
Imo too is possible for him because I don't think Okrocha will be left alone.
Yes. Because he seems to be the only one in this.
That they even made him
chairman
of the screening committee. It's even a surprise to me.
Exactly.
It's like they're giving him an opportunity to
get back to those people.
Punish 1 or 2 people. But they are saying, no, that is not it. I still think that the Imo thing can be addressed one way or the other, but they have to be wary of litigation. Because anything you do does not follow the law, those guys can challenge. And at the end of the day, you blame yourself. I think
because
even,
some
McCarthy was even saying it that day, that if they like, let them say they are not doing convention, that it will be easy for us to take power. He was saying it.
All right, so let's move on now.
It won't be that easy.
There have been claims of foreign conspiracies behind reckless killings across Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari also lent credence to these claims, a situation worsened by the porous nature of our country's borders. More reports from outside the shores are frightening. If it is to believe that there is an influx of foreign mercenaries into the country, top UK military personnel claim in a report by British newspaper that the so-called ISIS commanders are sneaking battle-hardened jihadists into Nigeria from Syria. They say they are being trained as terrorists for possible attacks in Britain. Is this a wake-up call or a chilling alarm? Yiga, I read this story early today and I was like, man, although before now, since the recognition of the
Abu Musab Abanawi
faction by ISIS, Do you understand? I know that, look, there's a kind of international dimension and ISM, listen to this terrorism.
There's
But
definitely the international connection to it. And the fact that this has been brought forward should send a strong signal to our security agencies that they need to be more vigilant. They need to be more at work. And it's not even left to only the security agencies alone. Even we as individuals, if we see any strange face or any strange move, there is that need to be conscious to make reports. Because now, although the report didn't signify, the ones that are being brought from Syria, are they Nigerians who are in Syria, or they are Syrians or whatever is their nationality? But now, how are these people, when they finish their training here, they now disperse and find their way into Britain or what?
That's what the report says.
So,
That's what the report says.
That there is a direct flight.
Yeah, because Lagos to London flight.
yeah, but you see, that means those people from wherever they are coming, they must have obtained their visa. Because you can't stay in Nigeria for 2-3 months and want to travel to Britain, and the Air Commission here will give you a visa. You must be resident in the country where you want to obtain a visa. It's like traveling to the US now, and you want to go to another country, you want to
let me give you a
visa.
scenario.
Okay.
In situation whereby you have people from neighboring Nigeria and Chad,
Yes.
Most of the time you can't distinguish them between somebody from Kano or Sokoto, you know?
Yes,
And
that
many of
is,
them have Nigeria passports.
Yes.
yeah, okay.
They move
That
in and
is
out in Nigeria.
If there is that striking affinity, that one can help to cope that. But if they are not, especially if they are not blacks, it will be difficult.
They'll be black. Boko Haram
So
fight.
now,
Okay.
the
The Arabs.
Jihadi John is not.
Yes, now those ones
Yeah.
will be white-skinned.
So the security agencies must be up and doing. In fact, it is frightening because you see, when I read such reports, anywhere I go, I look around and think. There is one video that is circulating on WhatsApp now. A man dressed in long, like a Muslim kaftan, carrying a bag, and he just threw it to somebody and started running, and everybody started running. And meanwhile, in the bag, there was nothing inside. So,
Pranks.
and you know,
that's
there are
pranks.
such pranks. Now, there is a need to be very, very vigilant. And the training our security forces are going to be having must be stepped up, not the kind of training that...
Actually, I thought we had our hand filled already with the cattle rustlers, Boko Haram. Now, if there's any element of truth here, looking at our borders, I'm afraid.
The reports spoke at length about the porous nature of African borders. ISIS has been successful in training Al-Shabaab elements. Al-Shabaab has also trained in the past Boko Haram fighters. Around 2012, they trained some Boko Haram fighters.
It's an exchange program.
Took them to Somalia. Yeah,
that
so
was
that exchange program is real, and it's been successful. ISIS operates, Al-Shabaab operates inside Kenya and continue to kill people in Kenya because Kenya is part of the AU troops, trying to restore peace to Somalia and fighting Al-Shabaab. So these guys already, they can see that our borders are porous and they are exploiting that. And what the president said about firearms from the Gaddafi era coming into Nigeria is true. Because inventory, and a senior army officer even told me that sometimes when they seize weapons from Boko Haram, the inventory shows that the weapon was not stolen from Nigerian troops. That the weapons were not taken from our armory here. You see in some cases NATO written on those. So some of those are weapons left behind. You know, NATO was directly involved in the war against Saddam. These are weapons left behind in Iraq when it became, in Libya when it became a free-for-all. And some of those weapons are coming. In fact, one of the Nigerian soldiers told me that some of those weapons are more reliable than the weapons we have. That they're always happy when they take those weapons. You know? So those weapons have come in from Libya, no doubt about it. It may not be in the size that we imagine, but weapons have come in. And I also believe that fighters have come in from all the way from Mali, coming from Niger, coming even from Sudan. Wherever these guys, they are contract fighters, wherever they see an opportunity, they come in. I've said in the past that we've arrested Boko Haram men who could not speak a word of Nigerian language.
Not even outside.
So these are international fighters. And the fact that we continue to fight these people, and they are killing our soldiers. In fact, on Saturday, in a place called Arege in northern Borno, they killed our soldiers. The Nigerian army has not admitted this. But they killed our soldiers, including a second lieutenant. You know? So it's a battle that is going on. They are killing our forces. It's not everything that the soldiers will come and own up to. But we know that we are fighting a tough enemy. And if you ask any Nigerian soldier, I will tell you that between those two factions, the most dangerous is the Abu Musab al-Banawi faction because of their relationship with ISIS. They can have access to training, they can have access to funds, they can have access to weapons.
And intelligence. Abubakar is calling us from Kaduna. Thank you for joining us, Abu.
Okay. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Go ahead with your contribution quickly.
Thank you to Mr. Babajide. I've always been your fan and I always watch your contribution on the issues.
Thank you.
Always been objectives.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My contribution was that, this issue of insecurity gotten worse during the time of the last President Jonathan.
Yes.
And which was the reason was he was the first African sitting head of state to have acknowledged the invasion of Libya by the France. If you watch most of our people that are actually stranded in Libya, the basic problem they faced was that our president sold their house, Nigerians sold their house. So we should take this issue of insecurity seriously. Those are the insurgency and all these militants. They want to see they actually mean our country.
Thank you.
Because of that singular act. And we should watch up on our foreign policy as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Do we have a foreign policy?
So, where do we go from here? How do we address this?
I think the Minister for Interior has his work cut out for him. He has to find a way.
Do we still have immigration in Nigeria?
That is why I'm saying the Minister for Interior. The borders have to be manned. I don't know how we'll do it, but we need to do it. Because by the time these guys start coming in, whether they are already here in Nigeria, we don't know. We just have to secure the borders to save ourselves from any form of embarrassment. When we see these videos of ISIS, how they are very brutal.
Yeah, even their training.
Their training is not
very rigorous.
So we need to find a way to make sure that these guys don't retreat. Because by the time they enter, they come into the mainstream in Nigeria, for instance, inside Nigeria, let me put it that way, because we have the borders. By the time they come inside, it will be very difficult for us to, fight. We already have the cattle rustlers, battling
bandits.
Bandits in Zamfara. The Lake Chad is not safe. So we just have to find a way to make sure that these guys don't, find their way into
that is if they are
states,
not ready.
if they are not here.
I'm telling you.
Because for the British newspaper to write this, it means they have serious intelligence that these guys are already either here or they are making their ways inroads into Nigeria. And what they are even saying is they get them trained here in Nigeria and take them back to London. And if you read that particular article, they even make reference to killings in the past, that happened in UK. So it's even a bad press for us as a country. So the government will have to find a way to make sure that this particular issue is nipped in the bud quickly.
I think, Yinka, when you want to look at solution, as I asked Masuko.
Yes, the solution, I think, is training and training and training. We must up our game in training our security agencies because we need the modern technique of gathering intelligence, not just any...
Jide, solution?
Yeah, we need to work with our friends, international community. We need to really work. Countries like Chad, we need to work with them. We know the president of Chad was complaining that he's not well funded to support this war the way he would have wanted. I think we have to solve that problem because we have a very long, extensive border with Chad. Yeah. If we don't do something about it and these people continue to come in, we'll be in trouble.
All right, I want to thank you, Asuko James, for your contribution. Thank you so much. Olayinka Oyegbile, thank you. And Babajide Kolade Otitoju. And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on our platforms, showing on the screen. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.